Give us your remarks, the summary of it, because I've been talking with somebody who told me that you have a magnum opus to present, because it's not a PhD dissertation defense. So please, you can later circulate the longer version. We'll be glad to read it. It will be of use to us. But we don't want your speech to be longer than that of the president when he presents the national budget. Thank you so much and welcome.
Regrettably, some state officials withheld critical information required to ensure a more complete capture of those expenditures at the time of submission of the budget estimates. However, recognizing the exigencies under the state emergency and the need to ensure fiscal credibility, the budget framework integrates expenditure information made available before the submission of the budget proposal to ratify the first quarter expenditures within a lawful and transparent structure. To appear before you this morning in furtherance of our shared responsibility in managing the affairs of Rivers State. I wish to extend my sincere appreciation to the chairman and honorable members for your dedication to fulfilling your constitutional mandate, particularly in the light of the very tight schedules of the distinguished members of this committee. We in Rivers State are most grateful for your dedication and commitment. Following the declaration of a state of emergency in Rivers State by His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, pursuant to Section 11, Subsection 4 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, and pronouncement of the Supreme Court on Rivers State's 2025 appropriation, I was directed by Mr. President to develop a budget proposal for Rivers State. I subsequently submitted the proposal to Mr. President, which he graciously transmitted to the National Assembly for consideration. Furthermore, we received a correspondence from this distinguished committee requesting for more information on the budget proposal. I am pleased to inform the committee that we have largely compiled and transmitted the requested information on the proposed 2025 budget. Like the chairman said, I believe you all have the copies, and in order to save time, I think I'll just take on the summary of what was submitted. The proposed 2025 Rivers State government budget aligns with the strategic objectives in the Rivers State Development Plan 2017-2027. The budget presents a strategic and integrated framework designed to raise revenues and accelerate infrastructure development, enhance human capital, and promote inclusive economic growth across all sectors. We are optimistic that implementing the 2025 budget proposal will deliver great socioeconomic benefits for the people of Rivers State. While the records available to me on the 2024 budget and its actual performance remain a source of concern, a quick review of the official records for the 2024 budget shows that the total revenue of the Rivers State government was 1.04 trillion compared to a target of 800.39 billion naira. This represents 250 billion naira, or 31.6% above the budget target. On the expenditure side, official performance report shows total expenditure was 740.74 billion naira, which was 52.7 billion naira or 6.7% less than the spending target. It is my well-considered opinion that the expenditures are clearly understated. The total revenue projected for the 2025 fiscal year is 1.4 trillion naira. As of May 2025 is 1.4 trillion naira. As of May 2025, total revenue inflows were 597.14 billion naira, which is only about 4% less than our projection. The total expenditure planned for 2025 is 1.48 trillion naira. The proposed 2025 budget was meticulously designed to account for and regularize expenditures already undertaken during the first quarter of the fiscal year by the suspended administration before the state of emergency declaration by His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. Regrettably, some state officials withheld critical information required to ensure a more complete capture of those expenditures at the time of submission of the budget estimates. However, recognizing the exigencies under the state emergency and the need to ensure fiscal credibility, the budget framework integrates expenditure information made available before the submission of the budget proposal to ratify the first quarter expenditures within a lawful and transparent structure. This ensures alignment with statutory appropriation protocols while safeguarding the integrity of public finance management. Additionally, in anticipation of the eventual return to constitutional order, the draft budget prudently retains provisions for the offices and functions of suspended political actors, some of whom have already drawn unallocated resources in the first quarter and are expected to resume their duties at the expiration of the emergency period. With a record allocation of 324.51 billion naira to critical infrastructure, the administration is prioritizing completing high-impact roads, bridges, and transport networks to improve connectivity, facilitate commerce, and stimulate economic activities across rural and urban areas. This also includes 38.85 billion naira allocated for shoreline protection, land reclamation, and erosion control, supporting long-term environmental resilience and disaster mitigation efforts. In the agricultural sector, the budget aligns with Nigeria's broader food security goals through a 4.5 billion naira counterpart fund for the rural access and agricultural market projects programs to unlock about 45 billion to open up rural access to farms and markets, 10 billion naira for food security, an initiative aimed at catalyzing and scaling up of local production in rice, cassava, oil palm, maize, poultry, and coconut. There is also a provision of 3.5 billion for investment in agricultural mechanization to boost food production. These interventions are projected to generate over 16,000 direct and indirect jobs within 2 years if sustained. Health sector investments are equally substantial, including 55 billion for the relocation and expansion of the Rivers State University Teaching Hospital, 50 billion naira for zonal hospitals upgrade, and 5 billion naira for drug revolving fund to strengthen essential medicine supply systems. The education sector receives targeted investments of 30 billion naira for zonal secondary schools and 5.75 billion naira for primary schools rehabilitation, alongside initiatives for inclusive education. The budget also demonstrates a strong commitment to gender equity and youth development, with 2.5 billion naira dedicated to women's economic empowerment and 3 billion for establishment of a youth resource center aimed at capacity building, innovation, and enterprise development. Furthermore, the budget reflects a comprehensive people-centered approach to governance with targeted investments across housing, environmental protection, public administration, financial inclusion, and security. The state has earmarked 25 billion naira for interventions in housing schemes to expand access to homes for middle-income families, alongside the rehabilitation of state-owned estates to address urban congestion, improve living conditions, and further stimulate the construction sector, with its attendant impact on job creation. Environmental resilience is a top priority with significant provisions for food mitigation and waterway rehabilitation. These interventions, if implemented, will reduce displacement in riverine communities and safeguard vital ecosystems amid rising climate risk. In public administration, the budget commits over 117 billion to pensions, gratuities, and employee benefits, marking a decisive shift towards restoring dignity and welfare in the civil service. This includes a 50 billion naira provision to begin to address the long-standing issues around pensions and gratuity arrears owed to retirees in Rivers State. Notably, the implementation of the Employee Compensation Act and a new group life insurance scheme reflects global best practices in labor protection. The state also plans to inject 20 billion naira into the recapitalization of the Rivers State Microfinance Bank, aimed at empowering micro, small, medium, and enterprises and underserved populations with improved access to affordable credit. This measure supports inclusive economic growth and grassroots development. God willing, every River citizen with a great idea, carefully thought out and well planned, will find the funding they require to turn their dreams into successful ventures, irrespective of tribe, ethnic, or political divide. Across all provisions, the budget reinforces Mr. President's directive to deliver on River State development priorities, sustain critical government functions, and ensure the continuity of programs that directly impact the lives and livelihoods of the people of Rivers State. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you so much, the Governor or the President. It is not discussed. Why I give that opportunity is that I felt something of general nature. And I think they are saying it's on page 218. Yeah, I suspect, that's why I said at the beginning that if it is in any of the documents you presented, we will do. We want to especially thank you and let you know that this committee is committed to working with you to restoring stability, peace, growth and development in Rivers State. Rivers has always been a shining example, of what is possible with good leadership. And that's why this commitment is there. We will scrutinize the budget. We would invite you. You may send your relevant officials to represent you to the defense, the proper defense of the budget. I want to assure you, in as much as we are committed to joining hands with you to ensure that Rivers gets back on track, we are not going to cut corners. We are going to do the job as we would normally do it for the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That way we will be helping you, we'll be helping ourselves, and we'll be helping the country. So I noticed some of the areas you've touched on, particularly women empowerment. I think that is very important.
Youth empowerment.
And
elders.
pensioners are there. Pensioners, you talk of pensions and gratuity. These are areas that the people's house we have soft spots for because we know the plight of that segment of our larger society. So we want to appreciate you for even your summary paying attention to that along with infrastructure. We would now excuse you. You make a formal presentation of a copy to the chairman and the house, and then we will excuse you. Thank you so much.
My leaders and distinguished honorable colleagues, of course, the administrator. Since we are receiving, and for further interrogations and at the discretion of the chairman, other discussions will come for the defense. But however, when we are, by the tradition, when we do budget presentation, though we know that you assumed office not too long ago, but within that period, you must have been doing, definitely you have been doing some things in the office. And the performance of your spendings, if it's in the books, just refer us to it. We will not ask that further. But if it's not in these books, please, Mr. Chairman, he will have to, by your ruling, let us have his performance within the period he has been there. And of course, we wouldn't mind if we have the KPIs too. Even if it's just one day, the key performance and their indicators. Sir? Yeah, because this is coming up because when you started your discussion at me at your address, you did not say anything about it. That's why we are bringing it up to you, sir. And that's then, of course, the parliament too, under the leadership of our chairman. If there are things you feel that you want the National Assembly to equally address for you, which falls within the mandate of the National Assembly, please feel free to discuss that with us. Thank you very much. Thank you.
So our